Broadscast is brought to you today by, sorry, but Kim's not ready, by Amazon.com. So, tomorrow, July 12th, is Amazon Prime Day. Did you know that, Kim?
Yeah, I learned it on Broadscast.
Because I live for Amazon Prime. I get my stuff to my door right away, discounts, things like that. But we can get you a free Amazon Prime trial. So go to broadscast.com for your free Amazon trial today, right now.
Broad topics, broad minds, broad hosts, but not just for broads. This is Broadscast with Kim Goldman and Jackie McDougall.
Welcome to Broadscast. So, how are you, Kim? You're looking for an earphone jack that I think my husband took out of the studio. So yeah,
it's earphone Jeff.
Right. How are you? I haven't seen you. I've been on vacation.
How was your vacation?
My vacation was amazing. We drove the California coast.
Wow.
We went to Lake Tahoe and to San Jose and stopped along near Hearst Castle. You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
We saw zebras, and I know. By Hearst Castle, and then we saw elephant seals and chipmunks, and and then we went to
I love we saw chipmunks.
Yeah, well, it was so cute. I never see chipmunks.
Yeah.
And then at the state fair, we also saw some animals, but up in Sacramento. But yeah, it was really fun to not have to go to a zoo,
Right.
And see. It was just nature.
Wow, that's exciting.
We saw some redwoods and big basin.
Yeah, you posted some great pictures of you guys climbing in trees and
on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yes. P.S. Jackie. That's my.
That's fantastic. That's daring of you to hop in the car. And
is it?
Yeah, road tripping with lots of people.
Well, my three kids.
People, yeah.
My three kids and my husband. It was, they were really, I think knowing that we're going to be in the car a lot, you just have, you kind of set your head right.
Yeah.
But if you're just joining us for the first time, we are Broadscast. Because I noticed that over the holiday, I ran into some people who listened to our show.
Oh, shut up! You did not. You did?
I did.
Really? Strangers or people that the people that you stayed with?
It was my mom. No, I'm just kidding. No, but we were talking about it, and they're like, "Oh, we sometimes listen live streaming, and not on, you can do it on our site, but not all where we live stream in other places."
Right.
And they were like, "We never hear what the name of your show is."
Oh.
If you catch us somewhere else.
Oh, right.
Or on the radio.
Right.
Then you don't really.
Okay, so my job for today is I'm just going to go Broadscast throughout the entire show, just subliminal Broadscast.
Yeah, so if you don't know, we go live twice a week, Mondays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 Pacific, and Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 Pacific.
As Sam and I say, we say Atlantic because every time I say Pacific, no, specific. When we say specific,
specific,
yeah. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, well, that's fantastic. I went on a little road trip last night and saw Springfield. I was Jesse's girl. So here's what I did. I ordered.
I love how you blew past that.
Yeah. So we ordered. We went to this little venue in Ojai, California, which was such a blast, and it was a last minute trip with my girlfriend and I, and there was a food truck there, and so we ordered fries, and they asked you to give your name, and so I said Jesse. Nobody got it except for Denise and I. Yeah,
of course.
I meant to say Jesse's girl, and I wanted to hear them say Jesse's girl, Jesse's girl, and yeah, I thought that was hilarious.
At the venue you ordered those?
Yeah,
fries?
It was in a little park.
Oh,
it's it was called the Libby Bowl, in Ojai. It was this adorable, incredible venue, and Rick Springfield blew the net off the netting off of the venue because it was covered in some mosquito nets.
Oh, really?
I'm just kidding. Yeah, it was fun. He wore cargo shorts, and I sent the picture to my friend Michelle, who did not get to go with us. And this morning she said he wore cargo shorts to his concert. That's like a lady letting all of her gray out, letting all of her gray go out.
Really, I like guys in cargo shorts. Yeah, I don't know that I'd want Rick Springfield on
he's
stage.
He's Rick Springfield. You know what? Good for him.
But the fact that he showed up without getting a DUI is
yes,
a win.
that was last time I went on a road trip.
Yeah, that you went. I'm sorry, I know it was a long time ago, but the fact that you drove all the way to that location
Yeah. Well, the best part of that story with the
in
Rick
a
Springfield,
dry hotel or something.
it was a dry casino. It was like an Indian. I don't even know where the heck we were. But the funniest part of it is Tammy Pescatelli, the comedian who's a friend of the Broadscast show. She tweeted at me, "Kim, he got a DUI and he's not showing up to the concert." We're like, "What the?" That's how we knew he wasn't coming.
But didn't you drive like hours to see it?
Yeah, we did.
To the dry
Yes,
casino?
to the dry casino.
And he never showed.
Yeah, and so we drove home.
At least you know you were sober.
Yeah, there was no trouble. But we Ubered last night, so we did a good job. But it was
Wait, you Ubered all the way to Ojai?
we drove to Ventura, and then Ubered from Ventura to Ojai. It was a blast. It was a last minute little rendezvous.
Those are the best ones.
Yeah, and the venue was so cute, and I think we were the youngest ones there.
Well, it's so funny. I saw the pictures.
You saw Rick Springfield checking us out?
Can I share some of those on the Broadscast page?
Yeah, I'll put some more up. We were so close. We stormed the stage.
Stormed the stage. It looked like 5 people were there.
Yeah, we had to push them out of the way, man. You don't know how people had their roses, because he does this whole thing where he plays with his guitar with his rose bouquet, and then all the roses.
He's so talented.
Yeah.
Did you get a rose?
I did. I got a guitar pick. He threw a
Really?
guitar pick into the audience, and
It's like an
I
episode
crawled
of
on the
Bachelor stage.
ground to get the guitar pick. Yeah. No, you know what? It's fun, and we just
It sounds fun.
yeah, we've done it a couple times. We've gone and seen them, and it's you know what, it's an opportunity to let loose. There were some people there that were just having a blast, and it was a all around good time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's so not what my night looked like.
Yeah. Well, you have 8 children living with
Well,
you.
yeah,
You inherited some children.
I came home from vacation with an extra child, the daughter of a friend of mine, who was also adopted internationally like my daughter. So it was kind of cool to have that connection. And then we took in, as of last night, 4 Chinese exchange students for the week. They're like, so I have 8 children total between 9 and 12.
Right.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
and last night we did pizza, which I'm not sure anybody was thrilled with. I won't throw the brand under the bus, but it was like one of those take and bakes.
Oh.
And then this morning I made, I'm not sure that they like my cooking. I made some,
What'd you make?
some French toast and lots of fresh fruit. And,
Oh.
I'm not sure if they're just not eaters. Because now, I have 2 boys and a girl in real life, and now I have 6 girls and 2 boys.
Yeah.
So I don't know how girls.
Did you ask them?
Yeah, but there's also a language barrier.
Oh.
Well,
I didn't know how much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
All right.
but it's a lot of fun. But today on the show,
Yeah.
because we are here for a show,
Oh,
we are talking summer with kids, and we're going to give you a little bit of a survival guide because we have 3 moms
sorry.
with totally different philosophies on summer, but all of them are kind of slaying it. I
Oh,
think,
all right.
in their own way.
I could learn.
Yeah. Well, what are you doing with your son is like all over the place this summer too.
No, my
right?
son is going to camp this week, junior blind camp. He's going to volunteer as a sighted buddy for kids that are blind, and they're going to kind of like a pseudo wilderness camp in Malibu, California. And so he goes to be a helper, but he also goes to, go to camp for the week. And so
That's cool.
Yeah,
you have
super.
to pay to be a helper? Or is that...
Yeah, I paid $150. It's a donation to Junior Blind, basically.
Okay.
And he goes and he camps out, and they do horseback riding and archery. And so we were reading this week about what he's going to be doing, and they learn how to do archery according to beeps and different sounds. So that's how
Oh.
I think I'm super excited for him. My son's a little on the shy side, but he's a helper.
Unlike his mother.
At heart. Yeah, we're both shy. But he's doing it as part of his bar mitzvah project. So it's he for when you become a bar mitzvah, you have to do a mitzvah project. And so part of doing a mitzvah is giving back and being part of your community. So he's going to be a sighted buddy helper this week.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm super excited. He's really nervous, but we're excited. And then the following week, I'm sending him up to Oakland to go to the Golden State Warriors basketball camp.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He's going with a couple of his friends from his team, and we're sending him up there, and he's like so excited. That's his team. So
You're winning summer.
yeah.
So, so he's just kind of getting all the experience, and he's also had some time at home to just kind of like
Play
be as
Pokemon
well.
Go. Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, that is huge.
My son wants to do a lot of things for me that involve walking around outside, and then I realize it's because he's chasing Pokemon. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're such a helper. You want to go get the mail and you want to go do doggy poop for me? Oh, there's a Pokemon out there.
And do they change all the time?
I have no idea. I'm so disinterested, and I just every time he comes and talks to me about it, I'm like, oh, that's so great. Oh, good, yeah. No,
But I'm a little concerned about like the safety of some of these kids too, because they're not looking up.
No, there was a report this morning that the police officers and sheriff's departments are warning people of the safety hazards because people are so focused on looking down. They're so obsessed with chasing Pokemon that people are not paying attention to traffic signals and those kinds of things. So it's hilarious. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's it's funny because it's like when I went on vacation, I heard nothing about Pokemon or anything of the sort. But now all of a sudden, everybody is like, it's everywhere.
Yeah,
everybody's posting about Pokemon.
Yeah.
So, and it's a good thing if you're getting the kids out. But when we were looking at the map, they were like 3 blocks away or this and that. So I'm like, now we got to get up too. So, but let's get to our first guest because enough of us.
All right. Yeah.
Mommy Niri is her website. And there's a good chance that you've heard of her camp, but there's no chance that your kids have been there because it's only for her own.
Oh, selfish.
Welcome to the show.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
Good. So, first of all, does everybody call you Niri or do they call you Nirasha?
Niri.
Niri. Okay. So your blog is ridiculously popular and you have all these, it's very diverse as far as the issues and the topics and all that you talk about. But the one thing summer after summer that I go searching for is your Mommy Niri Camp, which started in 2013 as a way to keep your girls occupied. So why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
So, like probably every parent, I used to wait for summer camp. Wait for summer just so that I don't have to pack lunch.
Right.
And then summer rolls around and I'm dreading like, can you guys get back to school? So it's...
No, we don't all feel like that.
The funny thing is, and then there were so many things that I wanted to deal with during the year, but, school would only cover so much. And I wanted to, cover other things, some of it academic, some of it not. And, I just came up with the idea, why don't I just start this? And a lot of it has been learning on the go to see what worked each year and things like that. And, I started in 2013. And I have to say, since then, I have never regretted a single summer or vacation camp. I actually look forward to everyone every year. Even with all the craziness and everything, I really look forward to it every year.
That's great.
And, a simple summary of it is I try to just cover a few areas in it. I try to cover a little bit of academic, which I think falls short sometimes in schools of learning in boxes rather than, in the bit of art, there's some math and things like that. Mm-hmm. So crossing over areas, similar things like building character or manners and things like that, the art of everyday social skills, about learning about where kids fit in the world around them without thinking the world is only made up of them.
Right.
And also about pausing and relaxing. I think kids have it somewhat easier nowadays, but also somewhat difficult. There's a lot of pressure. Just because you can do so many things, it's expected you should do everything.
And do it well, right?
That's right. Oh, super well.
One of the things that I love, though, is that at the beginning of the summer, you have a suggestion box for your kids. So how does that process work?
The one thing with working in corporate world, we've always learned that if you want people to love your decisions, you gotta get buy-in early. So the whole thing was it's not mandatory that they're going to get in all of the stuff, but the fact that they have a say in it, makes them more open to actually being part of it. And the other part is that for me, it's an eye opener. Because I always think I know my kids, but it's always an eye-opener to see what they ask for. And, constantly, especially this year, the more I read it, the more I feel like I'm messing up a lot, but not too much, because the things they ask for are totally in line with what I'd love them to appreciate. Not so much material things, but more experiences and learning.
Give us an example of some of the things that the kids have asked for.
Well, this year, one of the things that my daughter asked for was to go to all the places of the American Revolution. And, Boston's a big part, and we have that second part to cover. But the July 4th weekend, the long weekend, we did decide to do that. We went, she chose a couple of areas that they did study, and we did a trail of each of those areas. So she chose one place, and we kept it to one place because we also have to do the relax in each area. And we also didn't want anything rushed. I think there's so much about doing so much and not, getting deep enough. So we went to Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. We went to the Liberty Bell, and we got to see it, and we got to stand in line because I wanted them to learn patience. We got to be there, and they could be there as long as they want, but they also learned other topics, not just on that. They learned about slavery. My daughter got to see the harness they used there. We went to the Declaration to see the Declaration at D.C. We went to Battle of Trenton and Princeton just to see the sites. And some of them were not like huge, fancy sites that everyone sees. It was just a memorial. But for her to touch each of these places and see where history was and where things have changed, I think it's going to be unforgettable. So that was just one of them. Some of the others they've asked for is learning Hindi, language that we haven't been working on at home. And some of it is frolicking about, water balloon day. And we normally every year we do a kids chopped, a kids version of Chopped.
Oh,
and
that's fun.
That's been a very popular one. I think what's exciting is not just their suggestions. Is a lot of people have seen this online and have started texting me and sending me messages. Where do we put our suggestions? And I'm like, it's kind of only open to the kids, but we do every summer, we do invite kids over for different activities. Like we do Spy Day and we do a readathon. So we do every summer, we have several, probably a 10 or 12 activities like Chuck. We always have kids over. So kids are part of it. It's never just my kids. Kids are part of it. And the reason I make it with my kids, and if kids, other kids come over, their parents have to, is because this is not a drop off. It's more about getting used to your own kids and learning more about your own kids. Right. So I think I wanted to be more involved, and not just somewhere where you must see your kids. You see them in a different light.
That's kind of a cool thing, of course, in business that you could even open and have. It's very rare that parents would go to a summer camp with kids, and kind of participate in the activities together.
Yeah, I think there's so much of pressure about all or nothing as well. I think some people think like, but I'm working all day, or but I'm home with them all day, and we already have plans. We have vacation, and they have, other camps that they do at school and things like that, or sports camps. And the whole thing is, it's not a thing. It's more of a concept. It's a concept about building around what you already do. So if you have vacations, you can build things around where you are. We go to the mall, we talk about more about the world and me. So we talk about fair trade, and we talk about them learning. We go to farmers markets and we talk about sustainable living. So kids are not too small or young to talk about those topics. They understand. They understand much more than, we give them credit. Or we've gone on vacation and we start talking about how green a certain resort is, and how could they make it greener and things like that. So learning is all around us. You go to the beach and you talk about the water, and you talk about a lake, and we take water kits and test the water. So there's just learning everywhere. We started this year reading aloud one book that the whole family passes along to each other, and we continue the book. We've done it on the road trip, which I thought was going to be the worst thing, because my kids, I'm sure all kids have this thing about the moment they're in the car, they start to, siblings, fun in the
Fight.
car. We had this long trip, and it was the best trip because we read. We each took turns, and they all were fighting to read. They want to read, but it was this whole imagination opening up. In the old days, we had these audio shows on radio and things like that, and this was similar. It felt very similar, but something that ties us all together. So we try new things each year, learning more about our kids each year.
So do you take a break during the summer? Because that sounds like a job, like what you're doing. And I'm sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, and my kids ask me questions. My son asks me about fair trade. I'm like, duh, I don't know. And there are times that I just want to stop talking and I just want to shut down and I just want to veg out. I mean, do you feel an obligation that you have to be a teacher? I mean, I think it's incredible what you're doing, but I'm like, my mind is blown right now listening. I'm like, God, I'm inadequate.
It's so not. It's so little in a day. As I said, it's all built around your life. The moment it starts feeling stressful, it's just not something that goes in your life. It should never feel like that. On a day, it's a crazy day and we decide, okay, how about we just do something simple? So it's not a 9 to 5 thing. It's something that a little bit each day, or as much on some days, like when we're doing the road trip, it was a lot in a day. So it's all about blending it with your life. It's we keep picnic blankets in the car and we stop. We see a nice lake. We stop. We pull it out and we all lie and we read. So it's all about building it around your own life. So not at all. We watched the movie BFG yesterday and we were tired because we had a lot of parties to go to and events. So we just said, let's do a critical analysis of the kids because the kids were asking me, why was it different from the book? So I called them. I'm like, okay, why don't you tell me why? And they had a couple of minutes to pull out reasons. And I actually was shocked at how well they thought about, maybe it was too scary. Maybe the director thought it didn't fit in with the time of what people were watching compared to the time the book was set. Maybe it wasn't modernized enough, or maybe, they felt some parts they had to over dramatize to make it interesting for screen. Mm-hmm. But just those kind of things, I mean, that's like 5 minutes or 10 minutes and it's done. But they won't forget that. They will remember that critical analysis for anything they do.
Right.
Right. And that's what I really love when I'm watching and following you on Facebook and seeing what you're doing that day, that it just reminds us to be, at least for me, it reminds me to be in the moment, that it's not, I don't have to plan from, A to B like all day long, but little things that maybe I could take a second longer to explain or to discuss, or even just cooking in the kitchen. I've got, all these girls here and my daughter and her friend, and they want to help cook. And, maybe it's going to take a few minutes longer, but it's actually been kind of very rewarding, to stop. And my daughter, which I don't know what this says about me, but this morning I have, 8 kids and I'm serving breakfast and I'm doing my thing. And my daughter looks up at me and she goes, wow, you're in a good mood. And I'm like, am I not usually like this? Like,
no, not me.
Like little things like that you notice about your own behavior, because it's hard with kids to not be like, come on. And now we have this and come on, we got to go. And, so it's what a great experience you're giving them. But, there have to be some things that they put in the suggestion box that you just had to nix. Is there any?
Well, I have rules. There's rules about no material stuff. And I'm like, you can put a trip to Disney World all you want. It just means you're going to waste it. And, waste that vote because they limit it on votes per day. Oh. And I suggested them, you collaborate. You don't have to, but then you don't waste a vote because one of you votes on that and the other person gets a vote for something else. So I think they've kind of learned. And sometimes they moan because it's some of the stuff is work. And I mean, I do fit in workbooks and I do fit in reading. But, it's not an all or nothing. And this year we started, because I wanted to get to run. So I started like, hey, how about we do a couch to 5K? And my daughter struggles a little with running and says that, she's normally on the slower side at school. I'm like, how about we work at something? How about we try and do something that's more difficult for us and we do it together? So that itself has been exciting. But as I said, it's so little in a day. It's built around what I was doing anyway. Right. My kids see me fall a lot, but I think that's important. They should Absolutely. See me lose it a lot because I'm human. I don't even want to pretend to be this perfect person because that sets the bar high for them. Mm-hmm. I think the picking yourself up and analyzing, we do what we call, a post-mortem of after events. We always check in
debrief.
with each other. How'd you find it? Did you have fun, or were you just like being polite? So we do. My husband and I have always done that, but the kids have gone in now, where we analyze how we behaved. Maybe we should have done this before, and we do it to each other. And we always talk in a close circle. This is where we pick up each other. This is where we learn, so that the next time we do better.
Right. Well, I think I'm in awe, and it, like I said, it's a great reminder for me to stop. This is the summer where I feel like I'm still making lunches because now they're at another camp, or
Right.
I feel like I have to fill every minute because if I don't, they just want electronics or Pokemon Go now. So
I think they do like it. They look forward to the one thing, but I don't fill every minute, because I think kids play is just letting them lie and play on the swing or play outside or just lie out. I think that's important, and sometimes not get their attention. We were at a party with younger adults and not much kids out there, and I'm like, sometimes it's a little bit adult time, because raising your kids, you spend a lot of you time. So sometimes it's not about you.
Right. Well, Niri, you've been incredibly enlightening. Where can we find you? Where can people steal your ideas and implement them into their summer camps?
Your Mommy Niri everywhere, right?
Yes, everywhere. I think most of it has been on
And that's
Instagram.
Niri.
Yes, most of it has been on Instagram. And I think the reason I haven't pushed out and made a commercial and wrote as much about it, except for the pictures, that's what I do on Instagram. It's all there. It's because I wanted to never forget that it's about the kids.
Oh, I love that.
And that's great because, you, as a blogger, people think that I think that people who aren't familiar may think that it doesn't require too much effort. And I've blogged myself and I've been around bloggers for years, and, that can be all consuming. So the fact that you're not experiencing this just for a blog post
Absolutely.
is like the most important thing, because that's one of the reasons I stopped blogging, was because I realized I started living my topic. Now I just talk about it on the radio, but but I was living my life looking for new topics,
Right.
and so the fact that you did not fall into that trap is fantastic.
I think I also wanted to try it and see it works. And now it's something the kids look forward to every year. I mean, the kids have been asking, can we do this during April vacation and things? We take slices off, but I keep it for summer. But I love summer. I know it's weird. Except for when they have to go somewhere where they have to pack lunches. Mm-hmm. I love summer.
Yes. Well, and the funny thing is, you could, without requiring too much work, is take your outline and do an ebook and sell it that way, because the rest of us would buy it. And, down to like, let the kids have the suggestions. These are the rules and blah, blah, blah. I'd be like all over that.
Well, I've negotiated a lot of contracts with them, everything from cleaning rooms and things like that. And they've started creating agreements for me too, sadly.
Oh, that's funny. You're creating,
lead by example.
But I love it. You're creating a lot of, self-worth and love and, the ability to kind of be their own advocates, all of it. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you,
Thank
Niri.
you Take care.
You too. Have a great day.
Wow. Well, if you're just joining us, you're still listening to Broadscast.
That was Mommy Niri.
Yeah, Mommy Niri.
So you're like, oh my gosh, that's too much work.
It is. But again, I'm always the one that says I could never be a stay-at-home mom because I don't have the creativity, and I just know my strengths and I know my vulnerabilities, and I think it's incredible what she's doing. for me, I don't know that that's in me. That just takes a lot of, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hello?
Oh, hi.
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 See that? Our next
you?
guest is right on time and right on the line.
Oh, hello there.
Funny how that works, eh?
I know, right? So our next guest, sorry, Kim.
Well, that's good.
Multiple Mayhem Mama herself. If you've ever listened to our show, you may have caught an episode or two with her. Samantha Kemp Jackson, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So you're creating controversy. So this episode, as I told you, is all about survival, summer survival tips with kids specifically. And we just had Mommy Niri on, who talked about her camp for her kids and all the
Yeah.
activities. And, just in case we were feeling good as parents, we had her on to let us know. No, I'm just kidding. No, she's amazing. Serious mom
Yes.
goals there.
Yes.
You're creating a little controversy because you're on the opposite end of the spectrum in a way.
I am to some degree. So what I have to say, Jackie and Kim, is that our kids don't have to be programmed and structured to the nth degree every second of every minute of every hour of every 24 hours in a day.
Right.
And that parlays into summer too. So I'm kind of old school, and I think that, yeah, camps are great. And my little guys who are 7, they're in day camps and stuff like that. But they need to have time to do nothing too. They need unstructured activities. And I think we're too structured in this day and age in society in that we give our kids something to do all the time. And I think that impedes their creativity and their imagination.
Well, you wrote about this on Huffington Post in a post entitled "Stop Forcing Summer Activities on Your Children."
I did.
So, what if not being scheduled and taking car trips here, there, everywhere to their activities, and what are they doing other than Pokemon Go and iPads?
Well, they're doing what we used to do way back when. So when I was a kid, and I hate to say that phrase because I sound like a very old person. I walked 50 miles uphill to school in a blazing snow, whatever. But yeah, when I was a kid, I wasn't in summer camps all summer. When summer vacation came along, I think I went to camp once for a week or two, like a day camp. But other than that, I was kind of left to my own devices with my friends and sometimes alone. So that would include riding my bike in the park. That would include, going for walks, going to the corner store, buying candies, digging up dirt, going like just things that kids do. And I think that, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that they have to find something to do. My mother used to say, hey, you don't have anything to do? I'll find you something to do. Go clean your room, or here's some chores you can do. Right. So, it was either that or I found something to do. And I thought that finding something to do was better than cleaning. So there you go.
Do you think that our society is different now though than because that's how I was. I mean, we also only had 3 channels. We had Atari, and so there was only so many games
UHF
you could play.
Or VHF,
Yeah, exactly. I had that too.
Yeah, but I think that's part of our society too, though. I mean, my son doesn't necessarily watch TV all day long, but he could easily be on YouTube, and he goes outside, but like it's just not how it was. Like I don't know. He doesn't. I don't even remember the last time. I think his bike is like from when he was 5. I mean, I wouldn't even own a bike anymore. Really? I mean, I know. And so I wonder if the structure is to help those families not have kids sit and do all of the technology things that we didn't have growing up, or is it like? I'm curious because I was raised like you. I mean, I went to camp. I mean, we would go to camp in the Midwest, but we would go for weeks. We just didn't go to a day camp. I mean, it was like, we were gone for weeks.
To camp. I'm the 11th kid. Camp was, I lived camp.
But I was outside all day long. I mean, all day.
And I love that. Isn't that what summer vacation is about? You know, like I think that, to your point about the technology, yes, we have so much more stuff that our kids can do. They can, play video games. They can go online. They can do this and that. But I don't know if that's wholly a good thing. I love tech. I'm a big tech geek. But at the same time, I don't think kids should be spending their summer vacation, for the most part, watching screens and playing video games and going on YouTube. And I mean, that's fun and there's a place and a time for it. But I mean, I live in Toronto and our summer is really short. In Canada, we say there's two seasons. It's like, winter and construction season. And that's like basically when they're fixing the roads for the 1 month that it's kind of warm, and that's it. So, I think that because time is so precious, especially here, perhaps it's different in California because, it's warmer all the time, but, we don't have a lot of a summer. So I think you need to get out and play and enjoy the nice weather while you have it.
But do you think that's why people structure their summers, though, is to get kids out of that technology vortex that they can find themselves in, that maybe that's why there's so much structure? Or is it for the people like me who are lazy?
You're not lazy. You're
not lazy.
Mom.
Oh, I mean, you're a working mom. I don't think that it's an indictment of parents at all. I think that it's maybe too much of a good thing. There are too many things. I mean, I'll give you an example. Last week, I was away on a vacation with my family. We did a road trip to Eastern Quebec, and the whole time, so we had this car that was loaned to us that was decked out with, all these, screens. So my kids were watching movies and they're, playing Minecraft. My boys are playing and they got an iPad. They got this, they got that. And I thought, Holy smokes. Like when I was a kid and we went on road trips, I'd have maybe a book in the back seat, I'd be fighting with my
Played the
brothers
license plate game.
Right.
Play the license, exactly, right? Play the, Volkswagen buggy
Punch
game
buggy.
or whatever it is, punch buggy, right?
I had that little
and that
game
was
with the
it.
water.
Like, yeah.
With the,
yeah,
when
that was
you
push
punch the
my
button.
push the button and the rings
ball, the
try
rings.
to go on
Yeah,
the
I
thing.
had that.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, that was
technology.
it. And I thought maybe it's too much of a good thing. I mean, maybe they have too many things, because even with the multitude of things we were giving them, the boys after a while are like, okay, so what am I going to do now, Mom? I'm thinking, you've got an iPad, you've got movies, you've got satellite radio, you've got Bluetooth headphones, you got everything, and you're still complaining, and I also think that it's a function of the parents. I mean, if you think that, perhaps structuring kids might be because they're on devices too much, then maybe we as parents need to kind of step back a bit and say, why are we letting our kids go for so long on devices all day? And I totally get that, because when I want to get something done, I say to my boys, hey, go play on the PlayStation so that I can make dinner or something. Right. So I think it's a larger question, and I think it doesn't preclude the fact that kids still need to have a summer, and they still need to just kind of be kids and go outside and play.
Right. It's amazing to me because, you mentioned the cleaning before, but my kids will be like, I don't want to do anything else. I just want to play electronics. I'm like, well, fine, go clean your room. And then I find them doing those loom bracelets or playing a board game or something. So
anything to get out of cleaning, right?
Exactly. It's amazing how I find
they can find things to do,
playing Legos or whatever. So I just have to throw out the whole clean your room, and they'll find activities to do together. But I've got 8 kids in my house right now for the week, and they were out playing soccer last night, which was great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. And I love seeing kids playing outside, because that's what kids are supposed to do. I mean, I think there's a time and a place. I love tech too. I love that my kids like to build things virtually in Minecraft, but to what end? Like, are they supposed to be doing that for hours and hours all day while it's sunny outside? I don't think so.
I also think though that it depends on where you live. Like Jackie lives on a street where there are kids and there's neighbors, and like my street, mine is too for that matter. But we don't have kids on the street, really. And so in order for my kid to go outside, I have to drive him somewhere. It's a different life. Like when I was growing up, I mean, I knew every single neighbor, all the doors were open. You could walk in and out of people's homes, and they took care of you until the lights went off. I mean, I just think it's a totally different environment now. Like, I don't know that I would let my son go riding his bike, the one that we don't have, off to the neighborhood store. Like my dad let me. I mean, I went back to Chicago.
You want to get your crack.
When I went back to Chicago a couple months ago, and I was driving around my old neighborhood, I'm like, I can't believe that my father let me ride my bike all over this area, across major intersections, and down to our little towns, our little city, and I was like, it was just a completely different time.
Was it though? Was it really?
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know.
Really different than Kim and Jackie. Like, I mean, I look at it like, I don't think we have evolved that much in 30 years. I don't think so. Evolution doesn't work that quickly, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that there were more or less predators out there than there are today. I only think the difference is that we have Google, we hear more about things, we get 24/7 news alerts on CNN and this type of thing, and we hear about the horrible things that happen. But I don't think that there were predators when I was a young child too. I remember, thinking, oh yeah, that guy down the street, he's a bit weird, you got to stay away from him. Or, there were things that were happening, but I think that we know a lot more, unfortunately, and it's kind of sad, but we do know a lot more about things that go on in the world, that we might not have heard about before.
I guess I just mean, like, for me, like when I was growing up, there were just people everywhere. There was just people out. There were families out. Like, there was just.
You'll get arrested now.
That's the
problem. You can't send your kid down to the park.
That's true.
Yeah, I felt when I was growing up, I never felt alone. I always felt like there were people around. I felt safe, and now there's nobody out. It's like. It's weird. And maybe it's just where I live that there's like, if I sent my son out, I feel like he'd be the only one on the street. And then I get a little nervous. Like when I grew up, there was just people everywhere. There were families and neighbors and grandparents. That's what I mean in terms of it felt very communal. And now I just feel like it feels very isolated, that if my son something were to happen, that nobody would help. Like nobody would, like, I don't know. It just, it's a feeling, I guess. I don't know. They're just,
and I wonder if that's because it might seem like there's less people out, and maybe there are, and maybe that's because of technology. Maybe because they're all playing games,
or we've just grown up to being selfish, that we're very.
Well, but Kim and I also live in a planned community, or like a suburb of LA that where people their HOA
monitored.
Ask him about them.
No.
But also like
that is.
a homeowners association. So your lawn has to look a certain way, and you can't have things outside, and blah blah blah. Like literally to the point that if you have a basketball net, they can like file a complaint. It's ridiculous, right?
Oh,
so I think at least where we live, sometimes people they pull into their driveway.
They go in their backyard.
They go into their driveway, and the garage door comes down, and then they when they're leaving, the garage door goes up and they back out. And it's like, you're not seeing people. They're not out.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't doing their own lawns. You just don't have
But isn't that sad, though? That people feel that they're so regimented that they can't even kind of show a little bit of creativity in even their home? Like, I don't know. Because obviously it's kind of ricocheting off from the HOA, as you say, to kids and how we parent and whether or not the kids can go outside and whether or not there's kids outside for them to play with,
Right.
I mean, I think that every action has a reaction. And I think that, the fact that there's nobody outside, Kim, is indicative of the fact that, maybe we need to relook at this again, because at the end of the day, you're young for not that long. I mean, at the time when you're a kid, you think you're going to be a kid forever. And then all of a sudden you realize, holy smokes, I have to pay taxes. Right. So I don't know. I think maybe we should start a movement and get parents to kind of make their kids turn off and get outside. And, maybe if it's a communal thing, maybe if you do live within a community where obviously people care very much about, their properties, as they should, and what it looks like and how people behave, then maybe you can get together as a group and say, hey, let's kind of, cycle things back, and let's do things the old-fashioned way, and let's just let our kids play outside together
and watch out for each other.
Yeah,
and the thing
watch
is
out
too,
for each other.
Like a neighborhood watch.
I think it's hard when more moms are working and have other things going on and multiple kids and needs.
Yep.
But even if it's like to reach out to another friend and say, hey, they're going to be in my yard on this day, and I'll be in charge of them on Friday, or they're your responsibility on Monday, or whatever it is. But it is very difficult to that balance, because I did not plan for my kids to be at a lot of camps. We just got back from a road trip, and now I'm like, oh, what am I going to do for the next several weeks? Because I am concerned that they won't get what they need, because I can't monitor them I mean, of course they're home, but I don't monitor them every second of the day.
No. And should they be monitored every second of the day? I mean, again, it comes back to, maybe it's a larger discussion, because it's funny. My mother now says, oh, Sam, I let you go out when you were 11. And, I feel bad about that. And I'm sorry. I'm like, why are you sorry, Mom? I was fine. But now we've got this whole kind of pervasive thing in society where, oh, we can't let our kids go out, walk to the corner store. Like the woman who let her kid go to the park. And then somebody called the police or the child services or something.
Right.
I thought, this is ridiculous. I mean, where do you draw the line? I mean, your child best. I think, that's really my attitude. My attitude is, you're the parent, you're the mother, you're the father, your child better than anyone else, and what your child has the capability of handling or not handling. So my daughter, I know what she can handle, what she can't handle, and I won't give her anything she can't handle. And I think all parents, we know our kids best. If you think your kid can handle walking 2 blocks to the corner store, paying for, some apples and walking home, then let them do it. If you feel your child is not able to do that, then wait until you feel comfortable. But I really do think it's up to the parents. And I think that if parents feel their kids are ready and they feel comfortable enough, then they should be allowed to do that.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that there's being, the article was that there's too much structure. Do you think there's age criteria for that if you're of a certain age that there should be more structure or less structure, or are you just like all around no structure?
I think that's the $1 million question. Obviously, the kids that are younger need more structure because kids who are younger cannot take on as much responsibility as an older child. So, for example, my 7-year-old boys, I have them kind of half and half. So half the summer, we're just kind of doing stuff and hanging around. And I work for myself and I work at a home and it's really hard. But, you know, I'm going to do it like that. And then the other half of that is them being in day camps. My 12-year-old, she is basically doing nothing most of the summer. Today she's at the movies with her friends. They're going to be going, to the park tomorrow. But I've said to her, I want you to find some activities to do. I'm going to help her do some activities. Like maybe we'll make a little project that she can work on, an art project or something. But for the most part, she's just kind of hanging around like I did. And I think it's not overall a bad thing.
Yeah, I like the no structure because it's less work on me. Like
me too. I'm totally seriously, lazy. That's really what it comes down to.
Because you know what, part of it is
expensive. Summer is expensive.
Summer
is
totally
expensive, and I have two. It's crazy.
Yeah, but for me, it's my summer too. That like I still work in the summer, but it's less hectic than it is during the school year, and so I just want to sit. I've been catching up on ridiculous movies on Netflix. Like I've really just been trying. I've been organizing my drawers. Like I know it sounds silly, but I don't have time to do some of those things. Like Sam went into my pantry yesterday and he said, "Mom, I can't find anything in here. It's too organized." And I was cracking up, but I was like, you know what? This is what this time is for.
Yeah.
But part of it, I also deserve to just sit and not have to follow a routine that we do on a daily basis. And it's a nice reminder to just like cuddle and lay and kind of reconnect with each other and ourselves. And so I'm all on the non-structure.
Oh,
thank you for giving me permission to live my life.
Well, and if for our listeners, they can find you at Multiple Mayhem Mama, MAMMA.com, and on Twitter at SamKJ27.
And then we'll have all that stuff on our Broadscast website too.
As always, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for chatting again, ladies.
Thank you, Sam.
Until next
See you later.
Okay, take care. Bye.
So I thought you would like her. I wanted to make sure that
my people were represented.
I had someone in the team, Kim,
the lazy on the left,
camp, because she's totally right. And the thing is, this isn't a one or the other, because I don't think Niri was saying anything about like structuring every second of the day,
right?
And she talked about having downtime and everything, but
structuring downtime though. That this part of the day we'll be having downtime.
So there's that.
Yeah. You know what? Listen, again, I think that one of both things, you have to know your kids. You have to know what your kids need and what you need.
Because my daughter, if she's not busy at all times, I told you got to put her on the hamster wheel, or she's going to like find something to do, and it's not always the most productive thing.
Yeah. Like I try to get Sam to go to the pool, and he's like, "Yeah, but all you want to do is sit." I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I want to do." He goes like, "I want you to play with me." I'm like, find a friend. I just want to sit.
What does he want to play?
He just wants to like do
play catch and things. Like that.
Which I do, but I sometimes just want to sit. Yeah. And not get into the ice cold water just yet. Like I want to earn the right to jump in the ice cold water when I'm sweating so much from being in the heat.
Really?
And he wants to jump on me and race, and part of me is like, I just snorted, but sometimes I just don't wanna, and that's what I'm saying. Like I deserve my time too. So finding that balance between making my kid happy and making me happy,
right?
It's hard to do that.
It's always good to do that, and I think whether it's day by day or week to week, that you want to have a little bit of balance. Like my kids are at camp this week, and that's great.
Yeah.
And last week they were all up in my grill the entire week.
Yeah.
So I think I've earned, plus I have to work.
Yeah.
We can't Broadscast doesn't run itself.
Oh, it doesn't?
No, I know.
I thought we had some elves. Where'd the elves go?
little Broadscast elves.
Yeah. They're brelves.
So we've done the whole scheduled camp thing,
right?
At home, which
right.
is not the camp that I send my kids to. We've done the
no structure.
Mm-hmm. So our next guest, who is going to be on in a couple minutes, is kind of changing the world with her kids this summer, because her kids are not just somewhat structured and somewhat hanging out, but they're just, doing things to make life better for other people. So Karen, are you on the line?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Karen, meet Kim. Kim, Karen.
Hello.
Hi, Kim.
Hi.
So we have to, for full disclosure, Karen's been my BFF since 7th grade. So, and my mom goals, because she had 4 kids before I had my first.
Yeah.
And so she's got between 12 and 18, 4 kids. And she's also a teacher for the last 20 years or so, which is weird because we're 30.
That's true.
But Karen, what are you doing with the kids this summer? Tell us all about it.
So this summer, every summer I usually have a bucket list that my kids totally make fun of me for, but we always end up doing some fun things. But this summer we decided to do something a little different and give back to the community. So actually one of the reasons that I decided to do this was, as you know, my oldest Anthony is heading off to Emerson in the fall, and we were sitting at Acceptance Day in April. And the president of Emerson was talking about the Boston Marathon bombings. And, all kids were sequestered to their rooms. And, it was really a difficult time, as everyone knows. But some of the students decided not just to sit in their rooms. And what I wasn't aware of is 3 of those students were the students who created the Boston Strong T-shirts.
Really?
Oh.
And they, got together. They got someone from marketing. They got someone from art. They got someone who could procure the T-shirts at a certain price and raise $900,000 to go to the GoFund for the survivors. And that kind of just hit me like, wait, what am I doing with my kids? So we're not doing anything on that type of scale, but we are certainly going to be making dog biscuits for the Great Dog Rescue of New England.
Wow.
We are going to be making cards and placemats to give to Meals on Wheels to send with the meals that they deliver to people in need of meals each day.
Wow.
We're also going to either have a lemonade. We're going to have some type of sale. We haven't decided if it's lemonade or if it's get everything out of our basement sale.
Oh.
And we're going to take the proceeds of that and go to the grocery store and buy some dry goods and non-perishables to give to our local food shelter.
That's great.
Yeah,
Wow.
and on top of that, we've been in contact with someone up in Lowell who works at a shelter where we can go and serve meals to those in need as well.
That's amazing.
So how are your kids responding to this?
You know what? They're very open to it. We talked about donating some of our books to the Children's Hospital. We have like 6 or 7 things on tap, and they seem to be very on board with each of them. And I've kind of tried to scale them. So obviously my 18-year-old may not be making placemats for Meals on Wheels, but my 12 and 13-year-old very well will be. So there's a little bit of everything. I have a child who's passionate about dogs and animals, so making those dog treats is going to be fun for her, and she's going to feel good when we drop them off.
Now, maybe you already said this, but did your kids get to pick what?
We talked about what we were going to do. There was a couple that, going to the shelter was really important for me, so that one I picked. They didn't really get a choice on that one. But we certainly talked about these other things, especially where they'd be giving some of their things, like the books to the Children's Hospital. They thought that was a great idea,
right.
And being able to give non-perishable goods to the food shelter. We also threw in there just going in and picking up litter at our schools that they all have attended, elementary, middle, and high school. We don't need any credit for it. We don't need a picture taken. We're just going to take a trash bag and some gloves and go get it done.
It's interesting. When my son needed to do some community service hours for the Junior Honor Society, I'm plugging that right there. We talked a lot about like where he wanted to volunteer, because he comes with me to work, and he sees the kind of work that I do in my nonprofit agency. But I wanted him to kind of own something, that he wanted to be part of. And he really struggled with what he wanted to do. So we talked a lot about like different causes and different things that he felt connected to. And he really had a hard time, and I don't want to take away from him, but like he didn't know how he wanted to give back. He didn't know where to put his energy. It was he struggled with that, and I don't. So that's why I was asking if you give your kids ownership, because he's like I don't know, like you decide, and then we talked about some different options together. I did a little research and then gave him a choice between the things that I came up with, but he on his own couldn't really. come up with it. So I love that my point is I love that you're doing lots of different things so your kids can be exposed to lots of different causes, not just what's important to you, but, you're picking tapping into a little bit of each of your kids, and then participating in something that they can then, have some accountability for. It's invested interest in it. So.
Well, absolutely.
And what's good too is, like with my kids' school, they have 10 hours of mandatory community service in the elementary school, and then 15 hours in the junior high. And, so we have to, they really have to do that stuff. And so they have to kind of think of where they want to go and what they want to do and this and that. So I love that. But the idea that your kids don't have to necessarily do that for school, and it's still, I think it's important. We have to go out of our way even more so to make sure that they do see that there's somebody outside of themselves, because kids by design are very narcissistic,
right?
Oh,
I've got 4 of those.
But also, do you, because you're a teacher, you teach 5th grade. I'm like, unless things changed in the last couple minutes,
no,
but do you find yourself doing the same thing with the students at school?
Absolutely. In school, after 5th grade, when they complete 5th grade, they are eligible to get YES awards if they have completed 50 hours of community service within their elementary years. And it's really challenging having to talk to them about what giving back to the community is. And, I've had to be very tactful with some students in the past about giving your mother a 1-hour back rub is not giving back to the community. She's not.
I beg to differ.
Wait a minute.
And it's feet.
Don't start that trend, Karen. Come on now.
But it is, talking to them about what the community consists of and what giving back really means, so that they get these hours that are legitimate. And it's not because they're trying to just rack up these hours because they want this award. It's because some of them genuinely don't understand what the purpose is or what the goal is.
I said at the top of the show that my son is going to camp this week at Junior Blind in Malibu to be a sighted buddy. And we've been talking a lot because if you know my son, he's kind of doesn't really show a lot of emotion. He might feel a lot on the inside, but doesn't really emote.
Plays it close to the vest.
Yeah. So I've been trying to challenge him, with things that he could be thinking about, not just about, the sports activities or the crafts that he's doing, but just about the emotional attachment and the to connect with other people that may be different than him, and how he can learn and grow from people that are overcoming different disabilities, and so he just kind of looked at me blankly, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to write this down for you. I'm going to give you a notebook, but I want you to come back and have a conversation with me that just doesn't involve we painted today. I want you to explain to me how you assisted, someone who's blind in painting. What did you learn? How does that affect you? What do you, talk to people about their disability and how you can learn, because I want you to open your eyes. I said, being blind is not just about not being able to see. I said, being blind in life, can be a disadvantage to you if you're not open-minded. And so I'm having these philosophical conversations with him, but really hoping that he comes back from camp having learned something, and to be able to learn how it made an impact on him, not just how he made an impact on them. And that's
awesome.
Well, it's a challenge, because like you said, our kids are narcissistic, but I want him to get something out of it, not just, like I said, the camp part of it, So
yeah,
that was my speech. Yeah.
Well, you're doing a good thing, Karen. So, so good that I was like, what are you doing? You got to be on my show.
Thank you so much. I was so excited.
She's
part
like,
of it.
Suddenly she's like, I'm going to be your third co-host. Move over, ladies. No, we'll have to have you on again. Well, go enjoy your community service and your son before he goes off to college.
Oh my God, so sad, right?
I'm just sad he's not coming out to California to me. So
I know, but never say never. You never know.
You never know. So all right. Well,
thanks
you
for
so
sharing,
much.
Karen.
Okay. Bye.
Take care.
So I just love that she's doing that stuff too, because I think that anybody can do that.
Yeah.
That is completely doable. Almost every community has some sort of animal shelter within, drivable miles.
But even if you can't do that, like what we've been doing for a long time with Sam is like we'll go through his toys. He doesn't have toys anymore, but like we go through his bins and stuff, and we keep some stuff. We donate some stuff when he gets money, for birthdays or graduation or whatever. Some money for him, some to donate, and some for savings. So we've been I think that you can incorporate those things in your daily life so that it's not just in the summer, but summer does give you more ample time to go and expand on some of those
because you're
more
not doing
philanthropic
homework and this and that and the other thing. Like you can stop and kind of focus on it. You have a little bit more time.
Right.
So that's good. And I feel like the show had a lot of balance in summer because I think, at least for me, I get paralyzed with what am I going to do? And then I don't do anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just take day by day, minute by minute. And, I think you can create a lot of memories.
Minute by minute. That's a Rick Springfield throwback right there.
Oh, geez.
Yes. I knew I was going to get it in somewhere.
Well, we have to wrap this up, Miss.
Because we're working class dogs. There's another one.
I've done everything for you, Kim. And you've done nothing for me.
It's the affair of the heart. Seriously, Jackie. The human touch.
Yeah, there you go. Well, you can find us on broadscast.com always. We stream live there as well as on the radio and on iTunes. Everywhere else you can find us, and also on social media networks, Broadscast Show on Twitter and Broadscast on Facebook.
And we're going to have a man on the show on Friday.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are.
Don't miss that.
Just leave it at that.
Yeah. Teaser.
Such a tease.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you on Friday.